The East Brunswick High School Counseling Department is excited to embark on the future planning process with juniors this year. While school counselors will be working with all juniors individually to discuss their various post-secondary plans, be it entering college, trade school, job training, or the military, this presentation will specifically focus on planning for college after high school. For any individual questions, juniors should reach out to their school counselor directly. College admissions counselors and NACAC, the National Association for College Admissions Counseling, have provided insight into the factors considered when making admissions decisions. Above all, the rigor and performance reflected on the high school transcript is the most critical variable in the admissions process. Following rigor of course load and GPA are standardized test scores such as SAT and ACT. Next in consideration is extracurricular involvement. College counselors have emphasized that they are looking for quality and depth of involvement versus the quantity of activities on the resume. Finally, the college essay and letters of recommendation factor in the admissions decision as a reflection of the individual's characteristics, such as personality, creativity, resiliency, etc., to name a few. Whenever a student applies to a college, that school will receive a copy of the student's high school transcript. The transcript shows every class taken in grades 9 through 12, as well as the final grade and credits earned for each completed class. While the initial transcript will not show grades for any senior year classes, it will show the student's courses in progress. Most colleges will look for a competitive senior year schedule that includes 4 or more academic units. Senior year grades do count and can impact an admissions decision. EBHS will send a mid-year transcript with the first semester grades to all colleges a student applies to, and a final transcript with the grades to the college a student ultimately decides to attend. With this in mind, we encourage all students to work hard until graduation and steer clear of senioritis. A transcript also shows the GPA for each year, as well as the cumulative GPA. Colleges will look for a strong cumulative GPA and also prefer to see consistency, or better yet, improvement as a student progresses through high school. Information on GPA calculation can be found on page 8 of the student handbook. It is essential to be aware of important dates and deadlines in the college planning process. Junior year is a busy time and there is a lot to keep track of. Starting this winter and going into spring of 2021, students should start registering for the SAT or ACT. After winter break, the school counselors will start meeting individually with students for their junior year interview and senior year scheduling. Throughout the winter and spring, students are encouraged to continue researching colleges and careers utilizing Naviance. Students will also need to complete a brag sheet for their counselor. This document is used by the counselors to write recommendation letters. Students should also ask 2 teachers from their junior year for a letter of recommendation. Most importantly, start visiting colleges. There are a variety of in-person and virtual college fairs planned this year. In addition, many colleges are offering virtual tours and information sessions. The summer is a great time to be proactive. Students are encouraged to create a Common App account and begin filling out the application to get ahead. In between visiting colleges, students are advised to start working on essays, narrowing down which of their schools they would like to apply, and attending the EBHS College Application Bootcamp, which will provide detailed information on how to complete college applications. At the start of senior year, the counseling department will host a senior parent night to review the college application process, and seniors will meet with their counselors for their senior interview to finalize and send applications. Traditionally, standardized test scores have been required by many colleges as part of a student's college application. This past year, many colleges made changes to their policy regarding SAT and ACT scores due to test cancellations during COVID-19. All students should check with college admissions offices or visit nacacnet.org to determine the current requirements of each college. It is advisable for students to take the SAT and/or ACT to ensure they have scores if needed. These dates are the current upcoming SAT and ACT administrations. It is recommended that students reference collegeboard.org or act.org for the most updated test dates, as these are subject to change during COVID. We typically advise students to take both the SAT and the ACT at least once during junior year, or to take practice tests for both exams to determine test preference. Some students find the SAT to be easier for them, while others prefer the ACT. Colleges do not have any preference on whether students send SAT or ACT scores. They are equally accepted and respected. Instead, students should take whichever exam is the best match for them. Students can also retake the SAT and ACT multiple times. However, we advise against taking either exam more than 3 times. It is a good idea to determine if college of interest allows superscoring, meaning they will consider the highest scores from each test section over all exam administrations. As a reminder, colleges do not accept test scores sent from the high school. It is the student's responsibility to send SAT, ACT scores directly from the testing agency. For prospective Division I and Division II student athletes, the NCAA requires registration with the Eligibility Center prior to the end of junior year. This slide outlines the minimum requirements for GPA, SAT or ACT scores, and academic units to determine eligibility for participation in intercollegiate athletics. Please note the differences in the requirements for Division I and Division II. Division III prospective student athletes do not need to register with the Eligibility Center, but it is recommended that they contact college coaches for any additional information regarding Division III eligibility. When deciding which colleges to apply to next year, there are a lot of different factors to consider. It is important to remember that students are not only choosing which college they will attend, but in many cases they are also choosing where they will live for the next few years. Listed here are some important factors to consider and discuss as a family when deciding which colleges to apply to next year. Remember to consider whether a 2-year college or a 4-year college is appropriate. Keep in mind which majors are offered at each college and be sure to apply to colleges that offer majors of interest. The size of the college and the college setting, urban or suburban, can often make a big difference in terms of the college experience as well. Cost is also a significant point to consider. It is important that students think seriously about what kind of college environment they will thrive in, and that these conversations are had as a family. We will now transition into how students will use their Naviance account in the college search process. Naviance has an extremely useful tool available called Supermatch. The Supermatch feature can be accessed by clicking on the Colleges tab in the upper right-hand corner of the Naviance home screen and then clicking on Colleges Home. Supermatch can be found on the left side of the screen. The Supermatch feature is essentially a search engine for colleges. Students will have the ability to select certain criteria they are looking for in a college, such as location, size, major offerings, religious affiliation, etc., and then Supermatch will generate a list of colleges that match this criteria. This is a great way to begin creating a list of colleges I'm thinking about, which is another feature in Naviance where students can store colleges of interest. This video provides an overview of how to utilize the Supermatch in further detail. When reviewing a particular college in Naviance, there is a heart icon to the right of the college's name at the top of the screen. Clicking on this heart icon saves the school to colleges I'm thinking about. This is a working list allowing students to add and remove colleges to stay organized. There are a few different terms you may see associated with the college search and application process. Reach, target, and safety refers to the comparison of college admissions requirements with student performance, specifically GPA and SAT or ACT test scores. If the admissions requirements are higher than what the student has achieved, this is considered a reach school. If the admissions requirements are lower than what the student has achieved, then this is considered a safety school. If the admissions requirements and the student achievement are approximately the same, this would be a target school. College application begins in the fall of senior year, and there are various types of admissions and different deadlines. First, there are two kinds of early admissions, early decision and early action. When students apply to a college through early decision, they are entering a legally binding agreement to attend that school if accepted, regardless of any acceptance offers from other colleges. Students can only apply to one school through early decision. Because this is a legally binding agreement, it is important to consider the pros and cons of this type of application. Speak with your school counselor if you need more assistance. Similar to early decision, early action applicants will submit their applications earlier and typically receive a decision earlier. The key difference is that early action is non-binding and students can apply to multiple schools through early action. If accepted, they are under no obligation to attend. Finally, rolling admission means that a college acceptance application on a rolling basis. The sooner a student applies, the sooner they will receive a decision. Please consider the following resources to help with the college search and application process. As always, school counselors are happy to assist students with any questions they might have. Students can also utilize Naviance and the virtual or in-person college fairs and campus visits to help in the decision-making process. The National Association for College Admissions Counseling website contains information on admission requirements and policy changes for many schools. Prior to the junior interview, we ask that students complete the survey linked on this slide. This will provide counselors with valuable information about future plans and potential college choices. Once a student's completed the survey and has been received, they will be scheduled for an appointment to meet with their counselor. This concludes the junior presentation. If you have any questions, please contact your school counselor. We are here to help. Thank you for watching.